I'd like to welcome you to the U.S. high-level side event on nuclear policy. My name is Adam Scheinman with the State Department. I am the head of the U.S. delegation here to the NPT Review Conference. We have assembled a very senior U.S. government panel for you today to talk about all aspects of U.S. policy bearing on nuclear weapons. Our speakers are Undersecretary Colin Kahl from the Department of Defense, who's joining us on screen. We have Undersecretary Jill Hruby from the Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration, and my boss, Undersecretary of State Bonnie Jenkins.
We recognize both the continued important role of nuclear deterrence and the equal importance of transparency, communication, and dialogue in reducing the risks of nuclear war. This balanced approach recognizes that nuclear deterrence is not mutually exclusive to bolstering arms control, promoting strategic stability, and working toward a world without nuclear weapons.
Last October, I announced the number of warheads in our nuclear weapons complex, which shows that the overall size of the U.S. nuclear stockpile has decreased significantly. At the height of the Cold War, the U.S. possessed over 31,000 nuclear weapons. As of 2020, that number has shrunk to 3,750, representing an 88% reduction from the peak and an 83% reduction from the end of the Cold War. The future U.S. stockpile is the minimum needed to maintain a safe, secure, and effective deterrent.
Okay, let me grab one more question, maybe coming over this way, please, in the middle.
Hi there, I'm Aaron Humphreys, and I'm here on behalf of the Christian Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament. Jill Hruby said the current US stockpile is the minimum required for a credible deterrence. Earlier this week, NGOs were able to consider a report by CIPRI called Revisiting Minimal Nuclear Deterrence, Laying the Ground for Multilateral Disarmament. I'd be interested to know how the US defines and quantifies minimum deterrence, and how it seeks to apply the concept within its own nuclear policy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Administrator Hruby?
Okay, thank you for the question on minimum deterrence. So this is a difficult question to answer precisely, but let me just generally answer this question. The U.S. Thinks of its weapons in a couple of categories. One is deployed strategic weapons consistent with the New START Treaty, which we are not interested in unilaterally decreasing. The small number of forward deployed weapons that we have and our hedge. And in each of these categories, we try to minimize the numbers but provide the deterrence we feel is essential for ourselves and our allies. In the hedge, we have a hedge for a couple of reasons, both technical and political reasons. And I discussed in my comments some of the technical reasons, the need to rebuild our infrastructure and the need to refurbish what are now very old weapons that we had hoped that we might not need in the future, but we now know that we are going to maintain these weapons. So they're in the hedge category. We feel that the need for the technical hedge and then the political hedge with an advancing Chinese capability, diversifying Russian capabilities, and other nuclear weapon states, as I discussed, especially North Korea and Iran. So it is our sense that these three categories and minimum numbers in each of these categories represent what we consider today, in the absence of new arms control agreements, the minimum deterrent.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think that will bring to a close our event. I want to thank everyone who's here for joining us. I'd like you to join me in thanking the speakers. It's not often you get 3 U.S. undersecretaries to talk to at one time. I don't have that pleasure very often, so let's thank the speakers. Lunchtime.